It is Wednesday, September 17th, and the Yankees were finishing off their three-game set with the Twins. Trent Grisham providing the power once again. Luis Gil was on the mound. My recap and your reactions coming up next. This is Pinstripe Territory.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
Hey, all right. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for spending your Wednesday evening or perhaps your Thursday morning with Pinstripe Territory. Good series for the Yankees. They take 2 out of 3. We had Caballero back at shortstop today, one day after Volpe picked up a 2-hit game. Didn't do much, but that was an interesting way to kick off the day. Unbelievable day for Trent Grisham, whose amazing season continues. 2 home runs, 4 ribbies for Trent Grisham. And climbing up the belt standings, Dominguez had a good night. Double and a stolen base. Also got hit by a pitch. Continues to capitalize on his playing opportunities. Jazz had a good day in the field. Luis Gil, not particularly good tonight. Command continues to be a huge problem. He had 2 walks, but he was kind of wild within the strike zone. You take a look at the hits. He gave up 9 hits in 4 2/3 innings, which is not ideal. Bullpen, though, pretty solid. I mean, Cruz threw a scoreless inning in the third. Devin Williams was fantastic again. He struck out 3 in his appearance. Luke Weaver threw a scoreless inning, and Camilo Doval threw a scoreless inning. So the bullpen tonight, the opposite of last night, extremely reliable. And with that, the Yankees are now 85-67 on the season, and they remain atop the wild card in the American League. And they are 4 games back. Looks like Toronto lost tonight. So let's get to the recap here.
Let's go. Let's get it going.
And good sign for the Yankees. Extremely good sign for the Yankees. Aaron Judge beginning to hit. He went 3 for 4 tonight. He had a double to right field in the first inning today. He is really beginning to heat up at the right time because when he gets hot, I mean really hot, he'll stay hot for a month or 2 at a time, right? He gets really locked in. I remember he hit 400 for like 2 months this year. Now, he's had some fits and starts kind of trying to get back on the horse, especially after the elbow injury. But it seems now like we're seeing all sorts of good signs. We're seeing line drives all over the field. He went to right field. He went to left field. He's hitting for power now. He's closing in on 50 home runs. He is leading in the batting average for the batting title race, hitting .329 now, 1.132 OPS. He was the DH tonight. I expect we'll see him more in right field here going forward. Bellinger started in right field tonight. He had a good night. He had a big home run, also had an RBI single. He is closing in on 100 RBIs. He's got 29 home runs, and he's got 97 RBIs. So basically, he needs a 3-run home run for 30 and 100, which could come at any moment. I remember Alex Rodriguez needed 2 home runs and 7 RBIs for a 30 and 100 season back in 2009, and I'm sure a lot of you will remember this. And he did it in 1 inning against the Rays. Drove in 7 runs, hit 2 home runs in 1 inning. And I contend to this day that was the biggest inning and the biggest 2 at-bats of his career because I feel like up until that point, he had a reputation of never hitting in the postseason, right? And that was right at the end of the season. And then it kind of gave him that confidence boost of feeling good at the plate right as you went into the playoffs. And the first team that the Yankees faced in the playoffs that year was the Twins. And right away, he had like a base hit with runners in scoring position, which he hadn't done in forever, and then he hit that big 2-run home run off of Joe Nathan. That, and I know I'm talking about something now 16 years ago, but, that kind of finish to a season is something I want to keep an eye on. Guys who finish strong can oftentimes carry you in the postseason. Richard C. says it's no coincidence that we're good with Caballero at shortstop. And then Brian Bashman says Dax Kilby is killing it. Lombard who? And Lombard not having a great year, but Kilby's still kind of a ways away. So, let's be patient with these guys. It'll be interesting to see who's the shortstop next year to begin the season. It could be Caballero. It could be Anthony Volpe. It could be any number of players, really. Second inning was a mess for the Yankees. An error on a pickoff throw, a walk, a wild pitch, 2 hits for the Twins, and they went back out in front. Our friends in the UK have a phrase that I love to describe something sloppy. A right dog's dinner is what they say. That perfectly describes the second inning for the Yankees, but after that, they turned it back on. Trent Grisham, unbelievable night for the mustachioed one. He hit home runs number 32 and 33, second day in a row, handing out the free, all expenses paid, beverage service included, mustache rides, and unbelievable season now. 33 home runs. Again, be interesting to see how much he gets paid. We had a big RBI double for Dominguez in the fourth, 18th double of the year for him. They announced that he has missed the last few games because he's dealing with a tooth infection, which can be a real pain in the ass. Pain in the tooth, I guess. Apparently they're trying to avoid a root canal. I say just go ahead and get it. I've had root canals. It's not so bad if you get sedated, right? I mean, you can just... I remember I went in for a root canal actually I had 2 of them done at once. And this was, I'd say, 3 or 4 years ago. I go in and they're giving me like some kind of medicine to like relax me before the procedure. And the lady is actually asking me about my podcast. And she said, oh yeah, tell me about your podcast. And I remember like beginning an answer. And then the next thing I know, it's 2:00 the next morning. I have no concept of the passage of time. I was completely gone. Don't remember anything about the procedure. So it's not that bad, especially if you got Dominguez money, $5 million signing bonus. You know, go ahead and get the root canal. Jazz made a really funky play on defense in the 4th inning. I always like when he makes an athletic play, but you have to worry about where he's going to throw the ball because half the time he launches it into the camera well. Good throw this time. He also made a nice play up the middle on defense in the 5th inning. Good night for him.
Defense.
As I mentioned, Heel was not great. Bullpen was really great. And the Yankees take 2 out of 3.
Ball game over. Yankees win. Yankees win.
BX Kid says, LOL, I realized that Trent Grisham looks like Gene Shalit. I don't know who that is. I'm going to look that up. And you can be right along with me for the ride as I look this up. Gene Shalit. Oh my God. Holy cow. Look at this guy. Yeah, I can see it. I definitely see it. The mustache is there. That's great. And then Brian Bashman says, Yankees travel to Baltimore with no off day. They are 6-14 in travel days with no off day, travel games with no off day. Well, I appreciate the optimism.
You can't win.
We'll see how it shakes out. They're going to get in early in the morning. But what do you say we give out some hardware here? We have a returning champion tonight for the belt. It is the mustachioed one, Mr. Trent Grisham. Apparently Spencer Jones had 2 home runs and 5 RBIs tonight against whatever pitching is left in AAA. I'm not totally buying into the numbers. He also struck out a ton in AAA this year. I'm not ready to hand him a position next year, which, you know, makes you think about tonight's belt winner and another guy who had a good night, Cody Bellinger. Who will they bring back? It will be very interesting. And also, I want Dominguez in the lineup every day next year. He's really capitalized on not playing that often, you know, which maybe makes him a great 4th outfielder, but I think he's going to hit for more power. He's hit a lot of balls to the warning track. He did it again tonight. Some folks would say warning track power, and maybe that is. He hits a lot of balls in the air the other way and to center field, and it's tough to go deep, you know, in that scenario. He's got to pull the ball in the air if he wants to hit more home runs. And as Joe already said, he's got to work on the right-handed swing. But great night for Trent Grisham. Would have no objections to bringing him back. Now tied with Jazz for the lead in belts with 10. All right, let's talk about Luis Gil, who was obviously not as sharp this time as he was against the Red Sox when he had 6 no-hit innings. Twins baseballed him in the 2nd inning. They were making contact. You know, they forced him to throw one away. You know, they were being menaces on the bases, running aggressively. He did a nice job to pitch out of the jam in the third inning, first and second, nobody out. He avoided further damage that inning, but ran into trouble in the fifth inning, could not finish the inning. Second game in a row where the Yankees starter has had a big lead and couldn't get the win out of it. Now, when you ask, do wins matter, right? What do I look at when I see wins? I see people who don't let nights like this happen too often. Like Carlos Rodon will almost always get through the fifth. He won't always get through the sixth or the seventh, but he'll almost always get through the fifth. And, that's why, when you have a good offense and you're pitching 5+ innings, you're able to pick up a lot of wins. Max Fried, same thing. I think Luis Gil, if he gets deeper into games next year, it's going to be because he's throwing more strikes. The walks have been an issue, and when you have, a ton of base runners, all it takes is a little bloop here and there, or a wild pitch, or an error, and runs can tack up. Louis Penafiel says, "My man Derek, you have to agree that this win certainly looks a lot better than yesterday's, 100%." And 85 wins, I know a lot of us thought that maybe the Yankees wouldn't even get to 85 wins this year based on, the injuries we had and losing Soto and the whole throwing together plan B, but it has worked out well. I think they're going to end up with about 92 wins, maybe 91, but, they're going to be over that 89.5 number that we had at the beginning of the year. So let's take a couple of voicemails. We don't have a lot tonight. Here is John.
Hey there, Derek. This is John calling here. I just wanted to call quick. We're in the first inning of this Game 3 set against the Twins here. And, I just want to say that I find it to be super sad that Joe Girardi needs to explain the basic fundamentals to the audience because the Yankees are just not exhibiting any fundamental baseball.
Yeah.
Judge just rounds third base. Coming home, Jazz is standing on deck, and he gives him no signal to slide. Close play at the plate. Could have been a possibility for injury there. I just think it's so silly that we just keep making the same old mistakes over and over again, just not exhibiting good fundamental baseball. It seems like that should be something they learned back in high school. But
yeah,
appreciate it. Thanks, man. Later.
And Girardi, you can read into what he finds important by listening to him on the telecast, right? He's always a step or two ahead of the game. Right? Tells you how prepared he is. He's always bringing out like these obscure notes that are just like really, really detailed and really well thought out. And the fact that he understands fundamentals and preaches them to the audience tells you that he's probably doing the same thing to his players, which is probably why he's not the Yankees manager anymore. And I know a lot of people wanted him gone. He had some mistakes during his tenure. There was obviously the non-challenge of the hit by pitch against I think it was the Indians then. I think it was before they were the Guardians. And then it led to a grand slam and put the Yankees down 2-0 in that series. But they came back and won that series. And apparently he was tough on Gary Sanchez. But look what Gary Sanchez did after leaving Girardi's tutelage, right? His career went to hell. His defense got worse. His offense got worse. Girardi's a smart man, and he's a good manager. And I know he hasn't had a lot of success elsewhere, but if the Yankees do decide to make a change, I would have no problem at all with saying, hey, we made a mistake. Cashman comes to him with his hat in his hand and says, hey, we want you back. But we know Cashman won't do that. He doesn't like to admit mistakes. But, I think that I think he would make a great manager if they decide to move on from Boone at some point. Call about Grisham and Dominguez.
Hi, Derek. As much as I like Trent Grisham, and this is Aiden from Long Island. As much as I like Trent Grisham, I think you gotta let him walk. I mean, Jason Dominguez, it seems like every single time he's been up to bat with these limited at-bats, he's getting a hit, he's getting an RBI. I feel like lately, Dominguez, obviously not been playing a lot, getting a lot of hits. And I think Dominguez should be the left fielder next year. And maybe you keep Wells, put Jones, who had 2 home runs tonight, on the bench, who at AAA. And when an injury comes, he'll be the center fielder. But we also Bellinger. He could resign. We need to resign him. But I feel like there's no spot. There is a spot for Grisham, but like Grisham, it's a career year, obviously. I think you're gonna have to let him walk.
It's an interesting dilemma that the Yankees have. We're taking a look at Jason Dominguez's StatCast numbers now. I don't know that they're going to hand out a record contract to Trent Grisham, but he will get paid. He'll get paid decent amounts. And I'll be interested to see how far the Yankees are willing to go on him and if they want him back. But bringing Grisham back doesn't really necessarily mean that Dominguez won't be the left fielder. Now, Dominguez needs to improve for sure, especially from the right side of the plate. But you see like a lot of areas where he's already elite, right? The arm strength, the sprint speed, the bat speed, the hard hit percentage, the average exit velocity, the base running value. He's at least an above average batting run value player according to StatCast, and he's only 22 years old. I mean, he's putting up some impressive numbers. Now, there's a lot of areas where he's got to get better for sure. The strikeouts are too high. He's not good from the right side, but he sprays the ball all over the field. And, Grisham, let's take a look at Trent Grisham. He's 28 years old, going to be 29. We looked at him yesterday. He's also elite, like across the board, and we know he's a better fielder and runner than he has been this year because he's dealing with the hamstring. But he has figured it out. And, I mean, you look at the map here. I mean, that is what you want from somebody who plays at Yankee Stadium. Pulling the ball in the air, you get a lot of home runs. Now, 33 home runs, hitting .240 on the year. 826 OPS. It'll be interesting to see which way the Yankees go. Now, Cody Bellinger, 9 home runs. He's had a really good year. Obviously, going to opt out and get paid big time. So, Yankees are going to have some decisions to make. Richard C. says Girardi was on the verge of a dynasty with the baby Bombers. He wouldn't coddle the team like Boone did, and we'd be much better for it. 100% agree. Thank you very much. 100% agree. All right, so very special moment tonight for me. One of my favorite podcasts ever is the Bill Burr podcast, and he used to always have this ad that he would sing along for, and I used to get it stuck in my head, and it was for MeUndies, and he would say, MeUndies, no more sweaty balls, and I remember thinking, like, wow, he's getting paid to sing that stupid song, and now I'm doing it. We got MeUndies as tonight's sponsor, so let's hear the quick ad.
Dudes, fall is here. The beers are colder, football's back, and the fits are getting layered. But if you're still rocking old beat-up boxers under those flannels and jeans, we gotta talk. It's time to upgrade to MeUndies. These things are ridiculously soft. Like, don't want to take them off soft. They're made with micromodal fabric that feels like a cloud, but they still breathe when things heat up. And yeah, they've got legit stretch. So whether you're crushing wings or on the couch or tossing the pigskin, you're covered. And just in time for spook season, MeUndies limited edition Halloween line features fun, festive prints, including glow-in-the-dark underwear so you can bring the spooky vibes underneath it all. Right now, as a listener of my show, you can get cozy and spooky for less with deals up to 50% off at MeUndies.com/foul and enter promo code FOUL. That's MeUndies.com/foul. Enter promo code FOUL for up to 50% off MeUndies comfort that's made for all.
All right, we got the comment of the night during the ad, and we got a cat here that's causing trouble. The comment of the night goes to frequent commenter Brian Bashman, who says, I need new MeUndies every time Devin Williams takes them out. That's great. You guys kill me. Another good performance by Devin Williams tonight. Let's have some fun. Let's take a look at Devin Williams' StatCast numbers and see how they look this year, because he really has had a miserable year. But if you look at the StatCast, you still see a lot of elite numbers, right? I mean, that just tells you it's been sporadic but bad, right? When you pitch him in close games, most of the year he's imploded, but he's had some long stretches where he's pitched pretty well. 5.12 ERA, but that's up from 1.25 last year, 1.53 the year before. An astonishing downturn in his numbers. So, good luck with those MeUndies. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to Baltimore. So we kick off a series beginning tomorrow night. I will be here all night watching the game and then here reporting to you afterwards. So call in. And as someone mentioned, we don't get as many calls when things are going well. Not as much to complain about. Nell Zor says, is it me or is Goldschmidt runs like the Mario Brothers? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to catch you later one more time from John Sterling. And final comment of the night goes to Raymond Vellon. who speaks no lies, and he says if it was not for all those blown games by Devin Williams, we would have the best record. And, sir, you're not wrong. At least I don't think you are. But Yankees pulling up the wild card this year. Obviously, you'd like to be the division champs, but the Blue Jays have outdone them, and the Blue Jays are going to win the East. But doesn't mean the Yankees can't do a little bit of damage in the playoffs, especially if the offense shows up. But I'll see you after the game tomorrow. Catch you next time.
If you enjoyed this content, please hit that like button and subscribe. Check out NYYDesigns.shop for some great merch. Support our sponsors. It helps keep the show going. And you can find us on all major audio platforms, so be sure to subscribe there too. But most importantly, come back again soon. We'll see you next time.